Hey, what's up, everybody? Hey, check out Amazon. It took almost 10 years to break out of its all-time high, right? It had an incredible bull run. It had a big crash. It went into a retracement. Then it went into reaccumulation, right? It went sideways in here, and then it eventually broke out. And all that time, it took 10 years. So don't let anybody say, oh, XRP is dead. XRP is not going to do anything. It should have participated last time, but that's not true, right? I mean, when you look at one of the greatest companies in the world, its first bull market cycle, right, followed by its first bear market cycle, was actually the biggest bear market, right? And then what happened to Amazon after that? It kept going up and up and up and up, right? And now we see it here today, and I mean, it's still in that bullish wave, right? So for me, I'm comparing Amazon, right, to XRP. And what did Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, said? He basically compares Amazon to Ripple all the time, basically saying, Amazon, they started off with books, and now then they went to other products, right, or other things, and then Ripple, same thing. They started off with payments, and they're gravitating towards other things. They didn't say they just came to be another blockchain company. They actually came to put a dent in the universe, and they've said this repeatedly. And I mean, just look just look at the board members, look at their resumes, look at who they're connected with, look at who they're hanging out with. You can see some pretty high level, I will just say, situations, and it makes you think, right? So, when I compare it here to XRP, right, you have a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation. Now you're going sideways. Same thing with Amazon, rise, crash, retrace. Now you're going sideways, and eventually this thing will break out. You can see we had reaccumulation at the top of the range. You can either have it in the middle or at the bottom, depending how it moves down. XRP is actually having its reaccumulation in the middle here. So that's even better because there's more upside potential just to get above this yellow box, not to mention all the price action that comes after that yellow box. Now, Amazon moves a lot slower than, for example, crypto. So you can say that's not a fair comparison. And it's true, but again, Amazon took 10 years. We're only on year, 6.5. So, and then when XRP does break out, it doesn't, methodically go up like a stock. It actually shoots up rather fast. So it could be over very fast, right? Just look at the last time that's happened. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to show a side-by-side comparison here with XRP and Amazon. And to me, it just goes to show, again, being patient is a necessary thing, because the people who bought Amazon right back in 2002, 2004, even up to 2008, I mean, they made out like bandits, right? If they continue to hodl, right? They never gave up, they never gave in. They saw Amazon, and that's why I'm saying you got to have the conviction, right? When you look at Ripple, the company, and you look at what they're doing, and you can see who they're doing it with, and not just Ripple, but other amazing blockchain companies out there, right? I mean, but for me, like, XRP is just in a position, in my opinion, like no one else is. And whether that comes true or not, it doesn't negate the fact, what's happening here in the chart. Right? So, when the fundamentals line up with the technicals, that's when you got something very special. So for me, again, it's just a matter of time. It's a matter of hodling, right? Because, looking at the line chart here, I'm still comparing XRP right here, this reaccumulation structure, to this one right here. Right? And actually it's gotten a little bigger, so instead of that I just put it there. And again, happening the same way as before. We have bull market, bear market, retracement. We come down, we go sideways into reaccumulation, we break out. Same thing happening now. Rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, waiting for that breakout. You guys already know that. So what I'm going to do now is show you a different type of fractal using Bitcoin here. So, looking at Bitcoin and XRP side by side, let me zoom in actually to right about there. So we're kind of comparing these two structures. For example, we came down here, right? We made a double bottom, and you can see, we hashed out a base, right? We broke to the upside, and then we hashed out another base, okay? So when I look at XRP, I see I got the double bottom here, and I got my first base, right? And then you could see we broke out, and we created our second base right in here. And you can see right here we actually broke to the downside. And for me, that's pretty common, right? Because it's happened before back over here when it was in its other reaccumulation, right? You can see right here this wick, right? We've broken to the downside. So to me, that's a liquidity grab. Now, how do we know this is a liquidity grab? You really don't. But one good indication is when you see a very sharp reversal. And XRP actually had one of the sharpest reversals, right? I mean, it went down here to 38 cents up to about 56 cents. So for it being at such a high market cap as it already is, what did it go up? About 47%. So a 47% move, especially in the top 10, that's a big deal. So that's not bad at all off the bottom. But the work still needs to be set in. We still got a lot of work to do, right, for this thing to mature. But essentially, right, you can see a bottom here. We come up, we go sideways, and then we break out, right? We're double bottom here. We run up, we go sideways. Got a little bit of a liquidity grab. Now let's hope that we can break up, right? And what happened over here is we broke out, and then we back tested, and then we continued higher. So something like we break out, we back test, continue higher, something like that, right? So you could also see over here was an A, B, C, right, which was a running flat. Over here we have just a regular ABC, so a little bit different, but still the same, right? We're building a base, and again, we came up, we back test, we continue higher. We come up, we back test, we continue higher. Let's see if that's the case. I'm not saying it is, but it wouldn't surprise me at all. So that's one way you can kind of look at it, and you can see, right, what happened after that when she really got going here. So just to put that in perspective, right, if we break out of here, we can be looking at $10, not so far away. Not the way I've drawn it, obviously. I'm on the 8-day chart, so I gotta have the higher time frame just to fit it on the chart here. So for me, I'm still looking at this fractal, and speaking of Bitcoin, we are definitely getting a pop here, right? I mean, we're back above 60K. Oh wait, look, we're back above 64K. I put a video out last night. If you happened to catch it, basically explaining this exact situation here. Let's zoom in to the 1 hour. Actually, I take that back. Let's start a little bit higher first. So yesterday I was explaining this could be a 1-2-1-2, and we were up here and I said, look, if this is going to be a 1-2-1-2, we're going to want more. And that's exactly what we got. We got more. We took out this high here. That's exactly what we wanted to see, right? So now what? Now I want to pull back and another hit to the high, maybe another pullback, maybe another hit to the high, because we have a 1-2-1-2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, something like that. Right now it could be a diagonal of some sort. We get some kind of three-way pullback after that, because that's 5 waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get a three-way pullback, then continue higher. So that's kind of how I'm thinking about this right here. Now, it's not going to be as simple as that. I think when we do pull back, it's going to be, maybe a broadening wedge, maybe some kind of base channel, right? Maybe a falling wedge. It could be a number of different things that we get in here. But essentially, we want to bull flag our way out of this, right? You can see we built a shoulder here. Let's build another shoulder. Let's complete this head and shoulders, and let's meet that measured move, which brings us approximately back above all-time highs, right? Depending if you want to do it from the absolute bottom or be a little bit more conservative, that actually will bring you right back to the all-time high. But anyway, you look at it, I think regardless, I think it's actually really bullish here. I don't think this is a wave 4 anymore. It's just too big. Right, we first of all, we've already taken out this, so I don't like that as a wave 4 anymore. So basically saying 1, 2, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this is a 4, and then we get 5. I mean, it's certainly possible, but you can see this size and this size. You can see it's definitely a lot bigger. But from a time perspective, it can still work. So regardless, I don't think we're going any lower. I think this is a pretty big push here. So what we have is a finished, right? What do we have? A finished A, B, C. And now we're getting a 1-2-1-2 off the bottom, and now this could be maybe some kind of third wave in here of the first wave, right? So we're gonna get a 5-wave move, hopefully, right? We still don't have 5 waves. That's another thing. We only have 3. So if we get one more push up, then we get that 3-way pullback, then we flag out, right? That's kind of how I'm thinking here. We flag out, and that could come all the way back down, to 58K. So, expect a pullback is what I'm saying. Once we get this, if we're flagging out for a 4 and getting a 5, and then expect a bigger pullback, and then a continuation, because that, my friends, would be a 1-2, right? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This whole thing is wave 1. Wave 1 of what? Wave 1 of 5. Well, what 5? This 5 right here. So when I go, for example, to the 2-day chart, right? Let's get rid of that. We can see a 3-wave move to the upside, right? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, right? So that's wave 2, and then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's wave 3, A, B, C. Right? So the same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 1. We're in the first wave, so we're right around here, right? And by the way, over here was a 1-2-1-2, and look what we got after that. So this is a much bigger one wave. But guys, this is interesting because look how big this third wave is. It's pretty big. But look at the first wave. The first wave wasn't as big as this wave. So that means the 5th wave could be very big, right? Because think about the proportions, right? This 1-2-1-2 was pretty tiny. look how big this one wave is, right? So, you know, when we pull back, where we're going to eventually pull back, and we're going to flag out, and then we're going to get wave 3, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, I'm not saying it's going to do it like that in a straight line. There's going to be a lot of pullbacks and things of that nature. But looking at the 2-day chart, let's go back a little bit closer here, right? So you can kind of see, right? If this is the first wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we get 5, pull back, A, B, C. So that's wave 1, that's wave 2, right? Now we're going back up, and we're going to be a lot stronger here. There's probably going to be a lot of consolidation here, so I'm just drawing it just to show. But that would be our wave 3. Then we would get a wave 4, and then we would get a wave 5, something like this. That's how I imagine it here, and that could get us up. I don't know exactly, but you know, there's targets between 84K up to about 115, 120K. So could it go higher than that? I guess so, but I'm not really looking based off of that. So for example, if I just pull a fib from here to here, you know, we're looking at 100K for the 1618. So that's where we come in at, right? Upwards of 120. I mean, you know, it gets to a point where a lot of it's going to rotate into the alts. But when I take this off, you can see clearly now all the definition, right? Just like how this had 5 waves, this has 5 waves, and now this is going to have 5 waves. So the whole thing becomes 5 waves, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's all about this last wave. And you can say, well, we only have 1 wave left. Then what happens? Well, then we're going to have a big bear market, unfortunately, right? But the bear market doesn't come until a lot later. You can see a lot of distribution in here, right? If this gets really high, you can expect a blow off top, but likely we'll kind of go in some kind of distribution range. Might play around up here for a while, right? Heck, it might even come up and hit the high and then come down and then be over, right? We haven't had a bear market like that before, where we're sort of kind of grinding into it and then hit the high, not that big at least, right? And then kind of go into that bear market, right? But during this time, that's when the alt season occurs. That's when that's sort of the perfect breeding grounds, right? When you know, watch these nature or animal documentaries, you know, the conditions for certain things have to be just right for things to happen, right, in the wild. And, you know, for the same thing, like in order to get an alt season, you have to have a perfect environment, right? You know, the dollar, the stock market, Bitcoin, all of these elements need to be in their position for that alt season to occur, right? So, you know, is it possible? It's very, very possible. And that's what I'm believing, and that's where my money is positioned, is in this sort of situation here, right? Now, if the top was already in, right, let's say we don't get 5 waves, well, then what? Well, then I'm going to expect a bigger pullback here. So we got 3. I would expect another 3, and then we would come down in either 3 or 5. Somewhere down here to 50K, or, you know, maybe 47K, and then attempt 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So it would be a bigger 4th wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So instead of us being ready now, we actually have to do a double correction, or actually a triple correction, right, to get that 5th wave. That is definitely, right, it's certainly possible for that to happen, right? And if that fails, then we have one last chance at reaccumulation, and this is going to take a long time. But this would be the ultimate situation here, right, where it's going to start off as 3. Then we're going to get, and if that doesn't work, we're going to get 3, and then we're going to come down in 3 or 5. So we're going to get a 3-wave move. And if we don't explode then what's going to happen is we're going to come down here and we're going to sort of go into reaccumulation where we're kind of, flagging out in here a little bit and then break out. And but if that happens and we break out, it's going to be a huge breakout. It's not going to be going to 110, 120. It's probably going at least 180K or higher. Right? I mean, because this big correction, this big sideways reaccumulation will really explode the price because, people are stacking, right? And they're stacking big. Now, this big wave here, people are stacking, but, you've been impulsing pretty strongly, right? If you look back, we've basically been going straight up here since the beginning of 2023. So for basically a year and a half, we've been going up, right? And that's thanks to a lot of things, but people who've been hodling since back over here, right, they're starting to let go of a lot of their stash. But if we come back and we start going into reaccumulation again, then basically the price has nowhere to go, right? So what do people do? They're buying, and that would give us a big explosion. Now, if that fails, then, man, that's going to be a disaster. Because then at that point, I'm looking at it like, okay, you take the whole entire thing of Bitcoin, and for that, I'm going to need a bigger time frame here. So this is the index, right? And basically what we have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got a 5-wave move there. Right? But obviously, that's not going to be the 5-wave move, right? So if you have more than 5 waves, 1, 2, right? And then you could say all of this is 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Then you have a basically a wave 4 here, right? So basically, you're going to have to come down into a wave 4 and then go up in that wave 5. Now it's deceiving the way I'm drawing it because I'm on log scale, but essentially it would be like this. Let me remove that. Basically, it would be a big A, B, C, right? And the C can be anywhere between really about 6K, right? Between 6 and anything below this low, right? So that would be a big A, B, C, right? So this would be, you could say, well, it's a B wave. It broke the top. Yeah, well, it's only a 3-wave move. So in other words, it would be an expanded flat. And if we got that, we would still go pretty high, maybe upwards of 180, 200K, right? Because then you would kind of look at it like either, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here's your ABC. So this would be all one. This would be 1, and this would be 2. This whole thing is one wave, and now we got to pull back in a wave 2 and then continue higher. So all Bitcoin's been doing is just going up, 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 up with little pullbacks. But we've never had a real bear market, right? An actual bear market that takes 3 cycles to complete, right? So here's 1 cycle, here's 2 cycle, here's 3 cycles, right? Versus just 1 cycle, like going down like this. We would have to go down, up, then down. So it takes, we're basically 2/3 of the way there, right? So that's if all else fails. That's like the ultimate bearish situation. Someone says, well, what if we already topped? Well, if we already topped, then there you go, right? I mean, that's kind of the situation here. But again, real quick, this is going to be an ABC. We're going to continue higher, or it's going to ABC, 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 a 3-wave move, then we continue higher. Or we got to come down into reaccumulation and then go. Or we got to come down all the way into an ABC, then go. No matter what, we're going to go, right? Like, that's the way I see it. So that's why I'm like, you just don't really know. So it's better to be positioned, right? Because what do we know, right? If you don't really know at the end of the day, then what do you know? Well, we do know, right? Bitcoin is a scarce asset. We know it's a once you cross that $1 trillion market cap, it's basically here to stay. And when you look at the Federal Reserve, you look at the central banking system, you look at the fiat paper system, right? And then you compare that to what Bitcoin is. I mean, that's why we buy it, because the system is basically broken. So, bet against the debt, become your own central bank, right? Crypto, right? Units of crypto are anti-debt instruments. And, you want to understand that for the long haul, right? And, it's not just Bitcoin, right? There's a lot of crypto. So, but yeah, that's basically how it's going to happen. But I have to be honest, when I'm looking at the chart here, it's a pretty big engulfing candle, right? Actually, let's look at the 2-week candle here. Okay, let's look at the 3-week candle. Okay, let's look at the monthly candle. So the monthly candle, I really like it because it's a hammer candle. It came down, it was red, it wasn't looking good, but then it got bought right back up. So we still have 16 days left, basically half the candle. So it's going to be really important how this candle ends, right? My hope here is just like how this was flagging out. Basically, that's what's happening here. So, that's just the way I think. And until proven otherwise, we're just gonna have to wait and see. So that'll be it for Bitcoin. Anything on Theta, altcoins? Not really, except except for Theta, right? Look at Theta; it's actually doing really well. We got all the way up here to $1.55. So just in the last couple hours, we increased. Let me zoom in here. We actually increased about 6% in 6 hours. So not too bad, right? I mean, obviously a pullback's coming, and judging by this doji candle, I would probably expect it now. Let's see, what's the sequential say? We're on a 7, maybe another 8 and a 9. But basically we have 5 waves, guys, in Theta, and that's exactly what we want. You couldn't ask for anything better, right? It was started off looking very corrective, very bearish, but that's why I say just wait, right? Because we got a 3-wave move. I said it looks bad, it could probably come down, but I didn't sell my position, just wait, right? We're flagging out, we came back up. So we got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or it could be even more bullish, right? This could be a 1, 2, 1, 2, and now we're getting ready to kick some butt here, right? Maybe we're gonna come up, take out this liquidity, right? And then sort of flag out in here. In that 4th wave, and then get that 5th wave, right? When we get that 5th wave, then you want a bigger ABC, maybe even back down to $1.40, $1.42, right? Somewhere, basically you take the whole thing and just cut it in half, and that's usually where it goes. So if I'm looking for an entry, that's where I'd be looking for. I want to see this finish and then pull back, and then that would be a good situation, right? That's one way it can occur. And then we would start moving up again, move up towards this level. We got this level here, then we got a bigger level here, right, and you move up, then we got one more final level here. So we got definitely some areas to bust through, right? One being bigger than the next. But it all starts with the first 5 waves. And that's why, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss, because I think, this thing is coming to an end here, right? I think this is a good chance for it to be a bottom. 1, 2, right? 3. We got a 3-wave move. And then we got 3 in that move. We got 3 in that move. And then we have 5 in that move, which means it's an ABC, which means it's a finished wave, right? So is there a possibility that this is 1, 2, all of this is 3, then we get 4 and 5, and then go? Yes, it is. But, looking at this diagonal here, or potential 1, 2, 1, 2, it doesn't give me that impression yet. But we'll just have to wait and see. So I want this thing to kind of reset a little bit. I would much rather reset here, because if this is a diagonal, we're going to get a 3-way pullback. And it could be very deep. So just be aware of that. Right? It could come actually all the way back down to $1.20. So just imagine that Theta's at $1.53 right now, and then like in another week we're sitting at $1.25, thinking, what the heck just happened? That's bullish, But if this thing comes down quick, or if it comes down sharp like this, then I'm going to be saying something else. But we want this sort of corrective wave, sort of this flag here, and then give us a nice bust to the upside, right? Creating that shoulder. Maybe it won't be so deep, right? We'll see. But that's kind of what I'm thinking here. And the way I've drawn it, it could actually turn into a bigger 1, 2, 1, 2. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. Right? A 1, 2, 1, 2, something bigger, right before that 3rd wave higher. So that's another possibility that we should take into consideration. But yeah, that'll do it for this video. Try to keep it a little bit shorter today. By the way, XLM, I know people have been asking about it. Look, I think everything I say about XRP exactly translates into XLM, even more strongly, because XLM's, a less of a market cap, which means that it's more sensitive to those those moves, right? So, in theory, if XRP does an extraordinary breakout like I believe it will, then that means XLM could probably do that maybe ×2, right? So, that's the thing, right? But yeah, for XLM, it's I'm looking at this as 3. I see 3 here, right? So we have 3 up, 3 down. Now, either we're going to get 3 back up, or we're going to get 5 back up. So it'll be an ABC, right? It'll start off as an ABC, but hopefully we could get a 4 and then a 5, and then it can really get going here, just like how Amazon did, right? I mean, kind of in a similar way, how it starts marching its way back up, right here. Right here's the all-time high. Whoops. And it's kind of just starts marching its way back up in here. Boom, 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 boom. And then before you know it, it was off to the races. Now, I'm not comparing XLM to Amazon, but you know what I mean. So, but yeah, everything I'm saying is basically the same with XRP. And by the way, looking at XRP now, I mean, we can see it looks even more bullish, right? I mean, we had this beautiful 9 buy, a 2 going above a 1, right? That's bullish for Theta, that's bullish for XLM. And Theta going up in 5 waves is also bullish, vice versa, right? Every coin sort of helps each other out here. So just real quick here on Theta, I mean, look at this beautiful chart. I mean, you can see that, right? We had this incredible run up, right? We had a beautiful 9 sell that called the exact bottom, and then we came down here with a 9 buy after we had 3 waves, and we're back testing, and we're building a base, and Bitcoin's done with this 3-wave move. I mean, there's just so many things that can say, yes, this is the direction higher. Now, can it go down and crash and burn? Yeah, but the chart's saying no, unless there's something we don't see, unless, you know, there's another event, right? You know, I've been talking about events. I keep saying it's an election year. There's going to be an event. They're going to try to pull something, and sure enough, they did. Right? And then they say, no, it was just a 20-year-old kid. He's not, don't worry, he's not part of the deep state. Nobody said that. But anyways, if there's a situation where it's allowed to happen, then there's something that we just don't know. So, you know, we just can't believe what we're told, right? So forgive us for having a hard time believing things when at the end of the day we've been constantly lied to, not just with that, but many things, right? But anyways, that was like a miracle. That, you know, like I said, 1 inch to the left, and that would be it. It's over. So that was just incredible how close it was. And it's just like, you know, it just makes you think. And for me, now that it happened, it's going to be very hard to attempt it again, because what's going to happen? You're going to have so much more security. You're going to have, you know, they're going to be on the lookout, right? So it's basically they had one shot, right? The deep state had one shot, and now they missed it, right? So, you know, that was it, right? Now it's going to be very hard for them to do it again, because now security went up 10 times, right? So, you know, that's just the way it goes. And I'm glad, right? Because we need somebody in there to fight for not only our country, but for crypto, right? This is the channel. This is the base, is crypto. And crypto revolves around people getting things done in Washington. And when it comes down to it, it's all about regulation, right? And if we don't get the proper regulation in place, then, you know, it ain't gonna really work out for crypto. And not just for the United States, but for the whole world, right? The whole world wants their bag to be pumped, but it ain't gonna happen without the USA, right? I mean, you're only gonna get so much out of it. But eventually, right, it's just gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's why we continue to dollar cost average and hodl, right? Because these little bear markets, these consolidation phases, it's just a little pit stop on the much bigger road, right? So, you know, if you get off the bus, you're going to miss it, you know, because it's going to leave you behind. And to me, I'd rather just stay on the bus, right? So anyways, that'll do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Hit that like button, drop a comment, let me know what you guys think. I'll try to get to, you know, a few more charts like CRV here. I mean, CRV had a really nice move. Just show you very quickly. I mean, look at this. We had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we had an ABC. So is this an ABC and then we're going to get another ABC, like a double correction and then continue higher? Is this a trap here, right? Kind of like a flat pattern, and then we'll come down, maybe an expanded flat? Or is this the start of another impulse to the upside? Well, so far it only has 3 waves. So, you know, I'm not sure. I would like to see another 4 and a big 5, right, to push us way up here, if that's going to be the case. Because I want if this is going to be the 3rd wave, I want it to be much bigger than this wave, proportional, right? So it has to be pretty dang big here if it's going to go, right? So where could we go? Well, all the way back up to about 40 cents, right? So another 10 cents away, and this could be wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. Then we come down, get wave 4, then we come up, get wave 5. But we already got that first 5 wave move out of the way. Now we're just working on wave 2, right? So it looks like we're breaking out here, but again, it could be still an expanded flat. So we'll see. We'll find out. All right, that'll do it. Take care. Cheers.